Once again, Wild Bill wipes the floor with his unmitigated stupidity. Holy shit, dude. I mean, like, holy crap. I can't even believe, as a Christian myself, like, I can't believe that you made this video, because what you're implying is literally going to probably be the destruction of civilization in the United States, and let me outline why. Not only that, you're just doing this for self-gratifying reasons, and I'm gonna get over that point too. So, here.
Hello everybody, Wild Bill for America here. Thank you for watching.
You better share that coffee.
Is the United States a Christian nation?
No, it's not. It's a melting pot of all faiths, but I'm sure you're going to overlook that because you think the country was built on the enforcement of one religion only. Because, you know, we didn't have things like Ellis Island and stuff to let people of other cultures and religions and faith into the country for the hope and prosperment of a new life, Of course, why the fuck would we do that?
Well, the Supreme Court of the United States has definitively answered the question.
I don't give a shit what the Supreme Court says. They're a bunch of geezers in robes to me. Nothing the Supreme Court has ever really done has really bugged me, because I don't fucking care. I'm sorry, but a bunch of people who think that the justice system of this country and any sort of judiciary is the ultimate word of the world is ludicrous. Obviously, you have to think so highly of yourself, you compare yourself to a god to be that fucking arrogant. I swear. How these people live with themselves is unreal to me. I don't even know how they do it.
It's official. In the case of the Church of the Holy Trinity versus the United States...
Jesus Christ, please tell me that's not the actual name of the case on the docket. Please.
The Supreme Court examined thousands of documents concerning the founding of this nation.
What documents?
The constitutions of all the states, and
what individual parts of those constitutions?
And the compacts leading up to our independence.
What compacts? There were a lot made. Cite your sources, man, because that is a tall claim.
There was no question about it, and the decision was unanimous.
By which judiciaries, okay? I'm sorry, but this is a fucking ludicrous fucking thing you're saying right here.
The United States of America is a religious nation, and our government and laws were founded upon the principles of Christianity.
Okay, let me go tear this to pieces right here like a velociraptor looking for his dinner. Look, okay, yes, we're a religious nation, but we're a mixture of all faiths and religions, and as a person who's religious myself, I don't like my religious freedom encroached on by anybody else. Neither does anybody of any different faith. You're insinuating that the Supreme Court made a decision to enforce Christianity. What, are we going to have God cops running around the streets selling indulgences to people as long as they convert? Jesus Christ, when the fuck did I start living in the fucking Middle Ages, okay? Anybody has the right to practice as they choose, because that's one of the founding fucking principles of this country. It's a basic fucking principle of freedom. We're a country that got away from this kind of tyrannically idiotic bullshit. And you're suggesting that the Supreme Court wants to declare us a Christian nation. Well, okay, what are they going to do? Are they going to force everybody of a different faith to practice Christianity? Because, you know what? If anything was going to make me renounce my faith, it would be that. Because then my dedication to this religion would be made null and void. Because then it's just a political point, not an actual belief system, okay? You see, the reason why some people at times give me shit on this website is they're like, you associate with atheists on this website because you're a Christian and you think, you know, that they think it's bullshit that I'm a Christian, basically, and I associate with people like Coughlin, like in Mendham, other people on this website that are atheists as well. I used to associate with Brett Keene's fat ass before he became the biggest troll and self-owning troll in the universe. The reason why I associate with these people is because they have the freedom to believe as they choose and create their own conclusions to things. I create my own conclusions, and I find reason to believe in Christianity. Now they find reason to think that Christianity is bullshit. As long as I understand that we're not going to always agree on the same damn points, I don't have a reason to give these people shit. Bill, what you need to fundamentally understand is there's no reason in the world why the Supreme Court would need to declare us a Christian nation when everybody in the world can look at the United States and clearly see the opposite. We are not just a Christian nation. We're a Christian nation, we're a Jewish nation, we're a Mormon nation, we're a Muslim nation, we're a Zionist nation, we're a Buddhist nation, we're a Satanist nation, we're any other kind of alternative religion nation. Let's see, pagan, Wiccan, whatever the fuck you want to believe. Whatever weird god you want to believe in, whatever entity, whatever deity, whatever cosmic thing. Fuck, even if you're a Scientologist. Under the fucking freedoms that we have in this country, you are entitled to believe whatever the hell you want, as long as it does not spread hatred as long as it doesn't encroach on other people's freedoms, as long as it doesn't fuck with anyone else in this world, you have the freedom to practice within the privacy of your own home and space as you choose. Yet your suggestion implies that the enforcement of Christianity is soon to come in this country, and you get into that a little bit later in this video. That is absolutely bullshit. Now, saying that the laws and the laws and regulations of this country were based on Christianity, are you kidding me? Okay, so basically you're going to suggest that our founding fathers did what basically the people who wrote the damn Bible did. They used the fucking dogma as a control scheme for the government. They're like, these are the rules of God, this is the word of God, you better follow it or you're fucked. Oh, shut up. We got over doing that shit 2,000 fucking years ago. You live in the year 2012, okay? 2 millennia ago, we believed in that. We believed in that. Not anymore, because we have accrued things like society and civilization. Well, they had society back then, but much better society. Things like modern civilization. The ideas of running a fucking whole civilization through religion is bullshit. Now, granted, there are facets of our civilization that still mine this idea. Is why a lot of judges, even if they run down to just small municipalities, have a bit of an arrogant God complex. Because some of these people are so stupid, they think that the act of putting a criminal in jail is akin to doing God's work, which is technically a holier-than-thou sort of thing, and is kind of a heresy. But we live in a world that ain't going to burn you at the stake for being a bit of a heretic. Because look at the things we value in society. I guess by that point that 90% of all humanity are heretics, but whatever. Regardless of that, you know, controlling the government through religion is going to be the death knell of civilization. Look at all the wars in the world, okay? They're fought over religion. They're fought over people saying ours is better, ours is better, ours is better. I have never once in my life ever said that Christianity was better than anything. I never once ever tried to push that religion, and I never will, down anybody's goddamn throat because it ain't my place to. So you're saying that all of our laws and rules and regulations were defined through religion? Oh, God, suck my cock, okay? Seriously, it was not. We got away from tyrannical, religious-minded idiots over when we got on our colonist ships and came from Britain to here. We got sick and tired of that shit. We couldn't stand it. We killed thousands of English soldiers during our country's revolution because they were still trying to enforce this bullshit on us because the king didn't like that. He lost his fucking little bit of power because he thought of himself kind of in a godly manner and thought, well, you know what, if you people don't want to believe the way I do, then you don't have a right to set up your little colonies here. Well, fuck that shit. You see, the interesting thing about American history is it displays to me so much that we went from a country of badass rebels to a bunch of pussies like you that are willing to suck the dick of any higher authority, mainly because you're scared of it. But I'll get into that in a little bit. We're only 42 seconds into this video, and I don't even know how long it is that I just ranted.
Here's a quote from the Supreme Court regarding the mountain of documentary evidence.
1,000 pages to the Supreme Court is not a mountain of documentary evidence. Have you seen how much bullshit red tape they got to do just to pass one law, even a non-important one than that? God damn, it's ridiculous. How they read that shit is beyond me. I don't even think they read half of it, really. Quote,
they speak the voice of the entire people.
Wow, that's arrogant.
This is a religious people. This is a Christian nation. Now, I get hate mail almost...
You know how fucking ridiculous that statement is? That is literally, under the terms of my faith, a fucking heresy. So the Supreme Court said that they spoke for all the voices of all people? No, they don't. People are allowed a difference of opinion. And that's one of the things that pisses me off about a lot of things that a Supreme Court does, because they speak about things with an empirical certainty. You're a bunch of people who've made important decisions for this country, yes. But just for this country. Imagine if you losers were given control of the entire world. It'd be over in a day. Trust me. With the arrogance in that statement, you think people that were raised under different faiths for the majority of their lives would be okay with a statement of arrogance like that? Fuck no. And then you people wonder why the hell the United States is not very liked by the rest of the world. Really?
Daily, because I boldly declare that God and country is our history and the solution to all of this nation's problems.
And the cause of a lot of social injustices. Do I need to get into the race riots and how they were somewhat religiously motivated in the 60s? Mm-hmm.
So, atheists, listen up. The argument's over. You lose today.
And by the way, how the fuck would religion solve a lot of this country's problems? I don't see how faith in God is going to fix our economy. I don't see how faith in God is going to help clear up a lot of the cartels on the Mexican-American border that go and shoot border agents because they want to go pass big loads of cocaine into the United States to be exported and imported illegally. I don't think that faith in God is going to help social injustices like crooked cops beating the crap out of innocent people and holding them in jail for days without charges, only to be released by a judge who doesn't even bother to investigate the nature of a person's arrest without charge. I don't think that faith in God can help fix a lot of these problems in the country, Bill, and I think the oversight of your statement is so ridiculous it's like you didn't even think about what you said before you fucking said it.
Judgment Day arrives, you will lose permanently. That will be a tragic day for you when you realize how wrong you have been and what it will cost you forever.
You know the arrogance of that statement, Bill? You just sent yourself to hell. I know I'm going to sound a little bit preachy with this, and I don't give a fuck, because I'm a person on YouTube who's clearly never given a fuck about anything that he's said. I've based my last almost 3 years on here around this principle. You just sent yourself to hell, basically. You don't know for certain what a person has done with their life or the things that they've accrued or managed to accomplish or not accomplish with it that would say, yes, you're not going to make it into heaven when you die. You think if that faith is the only driving factor in this, you're an idiot. If God has the ability to create the entire universe and everything in it by thought, faith is a very, very, very minimal thing to him. Why? He created the entire universe by pure just existence alone. It's almost seeming to me that God is nothing more than just an entity that excretes consciousness and existence. That everything in this universe is nothing more than an excrescence of something else's existence. That being said, do you really think that he cares about all this socio-political bullshit? No. He probably doesn't even pay any bit of attention to it. It probably doesn't pay any bit of attention to it. I merely say he when referring to God as a means of personifying it so I can get my point across better. Actually, throughout my years of being raised in a very religious family and through different religious places, I was raised with Judaism around me, with Catholicism around me. Ultimately, I was baptized and brought through a Lutheran church, so I know a lot about religion. I've never believed that God is a 50-foot tall guy sitting on a fucking cloud with a big white beard ready to dictate over the entire cosmos like he's playing a giant celestial version of The Sims, okay? That's bullshit. If you really think that because somebody was either a Democrat or an atheist, you know, who gives a fuck? An entity like that doesn't have the time to care. The only thing it would care about is the boldness and arrogance of your statement. I'm sorry, but sometimes being very bold is not very smart. Abraham Lincoln once said something very interesting. It's one thing to appear stupid, but another to open your mouth and remove all doubt. That man was talking probably about people like you, Bill. And he's a guy that's been around his share of the block a few times. Self-educated. Freed slaves. Was an American president. Was a lawyer as well. Okay? So you really ought to take a lesson from some people who've had a lot of different opinions on this whole religion within. Also, I forgot to mention that he was a Christian as well. A lot of people that have done great things for this country that have had a varied opinion on its need to have religion within it. A lot of our founding fathers were religious. To what extent, I'm not sure. But they saw a futility of actually putting religion in our nation. They knew that it was what was fucking up where we came from. And they were very, very hesitant to do this. A lot of them did not want that. I think even Thomas Jefferson did not want that. Other people kind of swooped in and forced them to put that stupid God bullshit. For years, one nation under God wasn't even under our God, or not one nation under God, and God we trust wasn't even on our money. Okay? There's a damn good reason for separation of church and state. We're not fucking Roman Empire, for crying out loud. I don't see people on the corner selling indulgences. Well, you probably wouldn't know what that is.
Meanwhile, we Americans have a nation to restore.
Man, I take a topic and just run with it. I'm sorry I'm ranting so long. It's been a while.
For many years in this nation, atheists were banned from holding elected office for the simple reason but they were not considered trustworthy.
Well, that can be said about religious people. There are probably serial killers and murderers in our American prisons that are religiously faithful, or devout Christians. That doesn't really say much for Christianity or much for these people, because what's the point in believing in something that promises a better life when you're rotting in fucking prison for murdering someone who did nothing to you? Regardless, the devoutness of... Basically, this is what you're suggesting. You're saying that people that are trustworthy are based on their trust should be based on the devoutness to the religion they have. Okay, what a one-sided argument, because you're only going to include Christianity into this spectrum. What if somebody's a devout Muslim? What, does that make them not trustworthy? Based on the fact that a lot of stuff in Muslim countries that goes on nowadays is kind of fucked up, like suicide bombings and wars and all that shit? No. I actually know a guy who's Muslim. I work with him. I'm not going to name names, and that's all you're going to find out. But I'll tell you what, he's the most trustworthy, nice person I've ever met in my damn life. His religion doesn't even enter into the equation. You see, it's people like you that give Christianity a bad name because you think that it's a fucking right to go stereotype the shit out of everybody because of a fucking revised edition of the Bible that was based on 16 different revisions anyway, that just dictates over everything because it was written as a control mechanism. Your idea that this was even a correct way of looking at things is so bullshit, it's just astounding to me.
They answer to no higher authority than themselves, which is basically the same operating system that criminals use.
Well, it's the same fucking authority and operating system that our goddamn government uses. Our government sees no higher entity than itself. Literally. There's no ruling class. I'm sorry, but I actually do believe in a little bit of a ruling class. God. It's fucking 5 in the morning. Excuse me for being tired. I actually believe in a little bit of a ruling class. Maybe it's the inner Bolshevik in me. Who fucking knows? Regardless, you know, our government operates under this principle that there's no higher authority than itself. And look what it does with us! It abuses the fuck out of its power all the time. So you're going to tell me that if a government fucking... it doesn't answer to any higher authority than itself. Jesus Christ. You need to watch the news more, man. You really need to watch the news more.
Now, when it comes to leadership in this nation, I want people who understand that they will answer to God for their thoughts and actions.
Because that wouldn't corrupt our system whatsoever.
That is genuine accountability. We have certainly seen the results of dropping that standard from our culture.
You know what, if I was a president of the United States, I would want? I'd want our goddamn government. I don't give a fuck so much about the people anymore because our government is really the one that's fucking all this up. And I'll focus on the rest of the issues later on. I want our government to be held accountable for its own actions and enforcing and pursuing this stupid bullshit as if it was serving any purpose to our society. I am not an atheist, far from it, and I've already stated that a couple of times in this video. But as a president, I'd love to see our government finally be held accountable for its actions. A judge sends a fucking... like the story I saw the other day on the news. A 15-year-old kid to prison? Who gives a fuck? For a life sentence? Who gives a fuck? For one, you didn't even mention the victim in the news story, so that goes to show me how important that was. I don't care what you think of that statement. The person that sentenced them would be held fully accountable for taking a child and putting them into a psychologically damaging situation. They would switch places. I don't give a shit how the hell that sounds. You're holding somebody accountable for doing something a hell of a lot worse than killing someone. There are things worse than death in this country. I goddamn guarantee that. I've been through some of them before. Holding this country accountable for its own actions is also taking some of these Fortune 500 assholes and putting them on the goddamn stand for some of the illegal shit that they do. Okay? Throwing millions and billions and billions and billions of dollars out to countries that we don't have friendly ties with. For what? So they can fucking keep their companies and corporations operating? I don't think so. No wonder we have such a fucking turnover in our goddamn economy these days. It's ludicrous. No wonder we're in debt. If you want to hold a goddamn country accountable for its own actions, you got to start from the top and then work your way down to the goddamn bottom, because it's these motherfuckers on top that have got our whole nation by the balls. And as goddamn George Carlin, who might as well have been the smartest man in the world, said, they keep fucking you in the ass with a big red, white, and blue dick with. I mean, Jesus Christ, these people are getting fucked over by a system, as he said, that fucking threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago, and they don't even care. They're blissfully ignorant. You really think, you want me to believe that a government that is willing to, and I'm going to link a video below that is just as important, that a government that is willing to fucking launder $15 trillion, if this is actually true, from other nations, is something that should be given godly, empirical authority? You're out of your mind! You're out of your fucking mind. If it can't hold itself accountable for its own actions, it shouldn't look to God to hold all people accountable for their own actions. Because you know what? People need to hold themselves accountable for their actions. They don't look at the sky and say, well, what do I do now? I killed a guy. Are you fucking ridiculous? I might as well go build a friggin' straw hut in my backyard if that's the world you want to live in. I mean, you have to pull these videos out of your ass. Now, as far as if I was president for this whole religion thing, I don't give a shit. Anybody's allowed to practice whatever the hell it is that they practice, as long as it does not support hatred, as long as it does not infringe on the rights and freedoms of anybody else in this country, and as long as it does not fuck anyone over in any goddamn sense. And this is coming from a person that's a Christian. I don't give a shit. I believe that people have a right and freedom to practice all goddamn faiths. And that is the part of your own religion that you're missing out on. It's an equality-based religion. It really fucking is. But people don't see it that way because dickholes like you have twisted it and turned it and converted it into this big, ginormous vagina of fail. I'm sorry to insult vaginas. I love pussy. I'm not gonna lie. But Jesus, it's just this. I couldn't think of anything else off the top of my head. And that fact that there's, well, maybe it's a sour cream dipper that I was using in my salad over there. I don't even know where the hell I'm going with this. Regardless, you twisted something that was based around equality into just bullshit. And now it's something that you can't even be taken seriously. And you want to enforce this twist on something. Oh. Goddamn, dude. People need to be allowed to believe as they choose. As long as it's, you know, socially acceptable. And by socially acceptable, it doesn't support killing innocent people by running around saying that your God is more superior. Granted, this is part of the human condition, but we can only hope for better things. Why is it that you're like way older than me and don't get this shit, Bill? Why?
Every day, people ask themselves how this country got into such bad shape.
I guess that really is a stupid statement to say, considering the guy behind you in the background of the video there is driving a damn Corvette by you. It doesn't look like he's doing all that bad. I wonder if all the other people in that park are really miserable with the system that we have. Look at times during the Bolshevik Revolution. Look at times during the just the really economically fucked up times of Russia, during the Soviet times, even in the shittiest days of those. Those motherfuckers were wondering how things got so bad in their country. The fact that somebody in the United States actually has the balls to say that things are really all that bad here is arrogant. There are shitty times. We're in shitty times. But to contrast them and say, how did the country get in this shape? Look at the rest of the fucking world, man. Seriously? You gotta be kidding me. There are many places in Europe that are nearly going into the third world because their economies are crashing as the euro drops in value. And the United States sits there with its big, massive red, white, and blue boner raping everything in the horizon, not doing anything to financially help these people out. Idiots like you force religion on people, and they also force our shitty, fucked up economy and dollar on everybody as if that was the end-all, be-all to the world's problems. This country is not in shitty times, but it is enforcing shitty times on everybody else because of idiots like you. But, continue.
Well, think. Every problem we face has been caused by ignoring Christian principles of honesty, accountability, tough love...
You're fucking shitting me!
And the golden rule.
Oh, I'll get into the golden rule in a goddamn minute, and I'll beat your ass with that golden ruler. Every problem in this country is perpetuated by idiot politicians that cannot figure out what the fuck they want to do with their policies. They're perpetuated by motherfuckers who seem to think that being ignorant to a problem and doing as little as they possibly can to get rid of the problem or somehow deal with it in a more humane fashion is the solution. Problems like, I don't know, the massive drug problem in this country, forcing people that are small-time drug users into long prison sentences as a method of rehabilitation. Excuse me, dickwads, but putting somebody in a fucking place that is literally a drug central ain't gonna help them with their addictions or any other problems they might have, because usually if they're addicted to drugs, they got other problems as well. You know, putting the gang problem on the fucking back burner of the police force's work in this country and not really doing anything to get rid of it? Yeah, fuck you. We have more gang shootings in this city than anything, really. More gang-related crime. The cops really don't seem to be doing anything about it. Now, this isn't dissing Metro, because they are hard-working men and women in our police department that bust their ass every single day to quell this shit. But I goddamn guarantee you, it's on a higher-up scale, like these people's bosses and stuff, that really don't want to do a fuck about this problem. The problems within this country are started by people who have positions of authority that don't wish to use them to their full potential because they're lazy assholes. owing it to a fucking ideal and a dogma and a religion is so stupid, it's unreal. God is not the be-all, end-all solution to all problems. A little bit of elbow grease and manning up and finding solutions to the problems on our own as a civilization is how to fix problems. You know, if I took this can of soda and I spilled it all over the floor, no amount of praying is going to clean up the mess that's soon to attract an ant invasion. You know what would fix it? Getting some floor cleaner and a fucking towel and cleaning it up. Just saying.
Now, election time is coming up fast, and people need to know how to vote.
Oh, Jesus, Bill, you should know better. Voting in this country doesn't matter. No matter who you vote for. It seems to me that the fucking delegates that are going to be elected are already pre-chosen. They probably already know who's going to win from the beginning. That's why I don't vote. Because I know that my opinion to a fucking idiotic and psycho government is not going to matter. I'm one person out of 300 goddamn million. I've accepted defeat on that one, okay? I really have. I don't vote.
Here it is in a nutshell. Atheism is the foundation of the Democrats.
No, it isn't. Political ideologies is the foundation of the Democrats. Atheism is a religious ideology.
They celebrate it through their entitlements, pork projects, and endorsing
What the fuck is a pork project?
the lowest possible moral standards.
Okay, so going around pontificating how much better you are and actually acting more like Hitler did back in the 30s and 40s in Germany are ideologies that the Republicans of today seem to preach. Not all, but some of the more extreme ones. You think that we should hold ourselves to that standard? Are you fucking kidding me? Wow. You know, Bill, I'm starting to think that's actually not a cowboy hat on your head. You just dyed your hair black, got a lot of aqua in it, and then shaped your hair into a hat.
The Republicans are marginally better. That party has not renounced faith in God as effectively as
So if you're not a fucking Democrat or a Republican, what the fuck are you?
the Democrats, but they do have a fair number of scoundrels.
The Republican Party, no offense, is full of more political scoundrels than anybody in the goddamn universe. The fact that our country isn't just laughed at in the face of every other nation in the goddamn world is, well, actually, you know what? China actually did kind of laugh at us, I think, a little bit behind our back, but in it, especially since it's communist fucking China. Regardless, political scoundrels, you gotta... Yeah, like Reagan's administration wasn't full of criminals. I'm just gonna say that. Wow.
If you don't have time to research all the candidates, but you want to vote right, then avoid voting for Democrats, and most of the time you will have made the best choice.
Wow, dude, you actually said that. Take a blind stab at who you want to vote for, because as long as they're not a Democrat, they can't fuck you over. You gotta be kidding me, asshole. I fucking saw my granddad vote for George Bush, and he talked about it all the time. Now, I was just a fucking young teenager, okay, back when that election was going on, okay? I was fucking blissfully ignorant. You gotta be shitting me. Absolutely shitting me. To think that blindly voting for people based on their political allegiance is what defines what the hell their principles really are. You know more than anybody in the world, probably, because you seem to involve yourself with politics quite a bit. It's the main topic of a lot of your videos. That politicians say one thing and do another. They're ridiculous. They never stick to their guns. Ever. Obama said he was going to straighten a lot of shit out in this country. Did he? Fuck no. You gotta be out of your mind. It's taken him goddamn almost 4 fucking years now to straighten the shit out that he fucking said he was going to straighten out. Now, granted, the goddamn guy overwhelmed himself because he promised too much in too short a time, but I swear, now that he's starting to pull his head out of his ass a little bit and start getting on the ball, mainly because, you know, election time is going to come up this year, you know, I'm glad to see a bit of a change in him. I didn't really like him at first, but now I kind of do. I can kind of understand why he is the way he is as a president. But just blindly choose somebody because of their political allegiance is bullshit. Because if I got another goddamn George Bush in office, I swear to God I'd hate myself. I don't vote as it is, but if another George Bush ended up in office, I would literally hate myself. Oh God, he's going to say he's going to tax cut us, and then he's going to levy our taxes out so they're more expensive under the illusion that they were cheaper. Oh no, all of our corporations are going to fucking fail because he's a moron who just looks at things the same way you do and thinks that religion, Christianity in particular, needs to be enforced. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ is somebody that you need to study a little bit more. Realize these are not the founding philosophies of what he believed in. You're probably another one of those people that think Jesus himself said that gay people are bad, when it was just some random blurb in Deuteronomy, I believe. I don't read the Bible often. I just can't be involved with that psycho mess these days.
So, are the atheists going to shut up and go away? Not a chance.
It's almost like you use religion as a method of pushing people out because their opinions are different than yours. You try to say that religion says, well, I'm right because I'm religious, and your opinions and your studying on these fucking facts and things that have to do with the subject are irrelevant because I'm religious, and that's bullshit.
They have always known that they are wrong, but since they have no moral compass, it doesn't matter a bit. They will
Well, what the hell encompasses your moral compass? What are your morals? What are your values? I don't know shit about you, I'm not going to lie, but what do you value?
Continue their attacks unabated. But that's okay because we aren't going away either. Every attack of the atheists will be met by God and country Americans who have nothing to fear.
Because that doesn't sound threatening at all, right?
This is Wild Bill for America. Thank you for watching, and God bless America again.
I just want to know more about that guy in the background walking his dog, really. I really don't care anymore, Bill. Wow, that was ridiculous. But yes, most people in the world that believe the same way that Bill does here are fucking ridiculous because they take religious dogmas and they stretch them out way too far. I am a religious person, but there will never be a time in my life in which I actually push my faith and my religious ideals down someone's throat because it's shit. It's a stupid thing to do, and it's just basically a method of me saying, well, I'm better than you if I were to do that. I'm better than you because of this and this and this, and there's no fucking proof. None. None of these people provide a shred of damn proof to say why their religion is better. You know, there could be the possibility that, you know, all religions pray to the same fundamental entity. It's just a separation of culture and region that make us war because they're saying that their way of believing it is better because it's only slightly different. How stupid would we as human beings feel if God really did communicate with humanity as a whole and just say, well, you know what, all your faiths are just the same thing. You're only separating them because of region and culture. It's just, we would feel like the stupidest things on the planet. And people like Bill can't really seem to wrap their head around that. So they basically platitude about how much better they are, and people that don't believe this way are damned, and they're deviants, and they're heathens, and all this other ridiculous shit. I mean, you should see how much fucking crap that I get sometimes from people I used to go to church with because I still wear trip pants, because I still wear goth clothes. I mean, for crying out loud, they can't separate the fact that religion has nothing to do with a piece of fabric that adorns my skin so that I can go out at least wearing clothes and at least adhere to that bit of social acceptance right there. You know, they'll stretch it out, and the fact that these pants are covered in chains and skulls and shit make me seem like a fucking Satanist. It's ridiculous. Regardless, I really don't have anything else to add to this video other than that it was retarded, and Bill really needs to revise his ideas on things and stop using religion as a method to attack people for political ideas under the guise of attacking their religious ideologies. But I don't really see that happening anytime soon. Anyway, this has been another video by the illustrious someguy827, and thank you for watching. La da 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 da. Anybody that trolls this video is a fucking faggot.